Welcome back everybody! I am so excited for today's video. As you can see, I've changed the setting a little bit. I have moved from my regular filming area to the couch so I can be comfortable here with you guys. And I also have my favorite mug of coffee here with me. And that's because today's video is going to be a bit special. Since it's my 10th video, I thought it's about time that you guys get to know me better and that you learn some things about me, if you're interested, of course. So I decided to do the 50 random things about me video. Enjoy! I am a very big reader. I love books. I love getting lost in them, and especially when I'm feeling stressed out or burnt out or, like I have too many things on my mind. I just love opening a book and just sitting quietly in my reading nook, reading it, getting lost in the fiction. It really helps me calm down and my mood just changes. And I really love those kind of detective mystery books, murder mysteries. Yeah, a bit creepy, I know. But this is what gets me interested and what keeps me really focused on the book. I also love those romantic 19th, 20th century sort of books, where the ladies get to wear those big, fancy, luxurious gowns and they go to socialite parties and it's all very glamorous. And I do love the atmosphere they project, although I'm quite certain if I had been living in that period, it wouldn't have been exactly the same. I really love classic old Hollywood movies, and I especially love the leading ladies in them. I think they give such rich style inspiration, and I can always find something new or cool that I want to incorporate from their style into mine. And some of my favorites are Chinatown, I love Gone with the Wind, and I love Casablanca, of course, classic. I am currently living in Amsterdam, and I decided I would like to move here based on one visit that I took here when I was 15. And I just simply fell in love with the city, with how beautiful it is, and I decided that one day I want to live here. And that's how I decided to come and do my master's studies here. And as much as I am still in love with Amsterdam and I'm super happy with my life here, I have to say that a couple of years ago I took another decisive trip to Barcelona and I fell in love with it again. And yes, it is in my plans that somewhere in the, well, long-term future probably, I would try to also live there. I am an only child, no brothers or sisters. I did, however, grow up with one of my first degree cousins. When we were little, we used to stay together with my grandma, so yeah, I guess he was sort of my little brother at the time. I have been together with my fiance, Alex, for almost 9 years now, and we're planning to get married this fall. And as you can imagine, I am super excited. I am extremely afraid of the dark. Yes, I know I'm 26-year-old, I shouldn't be afraid of the dark, but I am. To the point where, and we're living in an apartment, so not in a house where you could possibly think that somebody is coming up the stairs from, a back door entrance or anything. No, we live in an apartment, but still I'm so scared of the dark that if I forget something at night in the living room and I'm in the bedroom, I have to get up and turn on all the lights from the bedroom to the hallway to the living room, get what I need, and then turn them back off. Yeah, not proud of it. I have an absolutely appalling singing voice. I am horrible. I used to be horrible at it in school. Still horrible now, but I still participate in karaoke nights, so when I was a kid, I used to pester my parents all the time to buy me a puppy because I really wanted a dog, but they didn't want to keep a dog in the apartment. So I would keep getting like hamsters or canary birds, sort of smaller pets. But then when I was 18, I got a chinchilla for my birthday. It was the cutest thing ever and I loved it so much. But unfortunately, it died tragically after a few months. It used to like hiding in like tight dark spaces, and one time it hid underneath our stove and chewed on some electric wires, and yeah, that was it. One of my biggest pet peeves is getting my last name messed up in emails. My last name is Iorgu, so I-O-R-G-U, that's how you correctly spell it, and I almost always get back Dear Mrs. Lorgu or Logru sometimes. But anyway, it's not an L. I don't spell my last name with a lowercase letter. Why would I? It's a capital I. So yeah, that's happening. Speaking of my fear of the dark, that may have something to do with the fact that I used to watch horror movies as a kid. And I saw the movie with Chucky the Killer Doll. And I can say I was terrified of dolls for years. And when I was, I think, about 8 or 9, or maybe even a bit younger, I can't really remember, I got life-size doll from my aunt, and it was a doll that could walk and talk, like battery operated, and she thought I would love it, but I was freaked out of it. And I even remember one time we had visitors with us, and we used to keep the doll in a separate room, and my mom had to make me sleep in that room because we had no place for our guests anymore. So I had to sleep the whole night with that doll that freaked me out in the room. Needless to say, I didn't sleep. I have an embarrassingly horrible sense of orientation, like really horrible. I need to go to a place about 10 times by myself, not with someone else who'd show me the way, by myself, to actually learn where something is located. And I have been known to get lost with a GPS in my hand. Like I was telling you guys in one of my previous videos, I have a huge sweet tooth, and my favorite sweet of them all is chocolate, and I especially love dark chocolate. I have been known to eat a whole chocolate by myself. But yeah, I love it, and as much as I try to be healthy in other regards, my love of chocolate just is something I can't control. I get physically sick from overly sweet smells, like if you have vanilla room deodorizer or anything like that, I get instantly sick from it. I get a headache and like really nauseous. I have some inclinations towards drawing, and I used to draw a lot when I was younger, and in middle school I was even planning to study architecture, but then I realized it's not just drawing, it's a lot more complicated than that, so I changed my preferences, and that's how I ended up doing business studies. I absolutely love coffee. I try to stop myself from having multiple ones every day, but I love coffee, and especially drink it with a bit of milk and a bit of rum essence in it. But yeah, coffee rules. However, I don't smoke. I know a lot of my friends who drink coffee also smoke because apparently they go so well together, but I don't smoke. I've never smoked like regularly in my life. I used to hate naps as a kid, and whenever my mom would send me to bed in the middle of the day, I would hide my little storybooks underneath the pillow and just read instead for about an hour and pretend I used to sleep. And now that I've grown up, I have started to understand what my parents used to tell me, that there will come a day when I will want to nap and I'll have no time for it. And what I can say is that they are right. I don't eat bell peppers at all in any form, not cooked, not raw, not boiled, not... I do not like them on the plane, I do not like them on the train, I do not like them at all. And if something has been cooked that has bell peppers in it, even if I pick the peppers out, I still will not eat the food because the taste has been contaminated to me. I invest a lot in my skincare and generally in taking care of myself. I prefer investing the money in something that I know will keep me healthy both physically and mentally, especially since the rhythm of life today is so quick and so stressful. I prefer to take as much care of myself as possible, and I usually tend to take vitamins or supplements from time to time, and I like to keep the things that I put inside my body as natural as possible and organic, even if it's possible. And on the same note, I drink a lot of water every day, at least 2 liters. It's very easy for me. I never have to carry a water bottle with me or try to get myself to remember to drink water. I just do because apparently when I was little as well, my mom used to give me tea or water after every meal, and now I have the same. I cannot eat something and then not drink water after it. I hate having the taste of food in my mouth. I always have to drink water after a meal. I used to be a bit of a hoarder when I was a kid, and everything was precious to me. I didn't want to throw anything out, although I wasn't using half of the things I was keeping. That all changed when I first moved to do my studies, and it definitely sunk in when I moved to Amsterdam. And I still remember it now because when we moved here the first time, Alex only brought a suitcase and I brought 10. My favorite form of exercising is swimming. I would swim every day if I could, but I don't really go to pools as often because I know the chlorine is not really good for your hair and for your eyes as well. But I do also love biking, and especially since I moved to Amsterdam, I bike everywhere, and that keeps me fit and healthy. And I also like doing high intensity interval training, and I alternate that with weightlifting and with yoga and Pilates. So I constantly have to change my exercising routine around because I get bored super quickly of pretty much everything. I am a lot more comfortable in heels than in flats. I don't know if that's something that has to do with the way my foot is designed or whatever, but I do feel a lot more comfortable in heels. I find that they give me better support because when I wear flats, after a few hours, my sole feels like it's being stabbed, literally. And when I wear heels, I never have that problem. I can wear them all day long. I started going gray around 17, and now I am constantly dyeing my hair, not because I like to change the color, but because it is mostly white, so I would be a total granny if I didn't have hair dye. And in case you're wondering, my natural hair color is a very deep dark brown, almost black. And another fun fact about my hair is that when I was younger, I used to straighten it all the time because it used to grow in curly. But now, since it's gone gray, it's growing out a lot straighter. So now I started curling it because I missed how it used to look. I am deathly afraid of sharks. And when I was younger, I used to have this irrational fear that whenever I would be swimming in a darker pool or a body of water where I didn't really have enough visibility, that a shark would suddenly and inexplicably, of course, appear there and would eat me. I used to be a morning person growing up, but now I hate it with all of my being. There's nothing I despise more than hearing the sound of the alarm in the morning. I can't stand prickly, itchy clothing. I've had really amazing sweaters that I couldn't wear even once because they even felt like they were prickling me through a tank top. I've always been dreaming about opening up my own cafe one day, and this has been since I was in high school, I think, definitely since I was in college. And although now it's on the back burner, it's still a dream that I haven't completely given up on. I usually binge watch series like crazy, normally with Alex, but even by myself. And I have been known to watch a series multiple times if I like it. Like, for example, I think I've seen Friends a total of 10 times so far in my life. I really love cherries. They are my favorite fruit ever, and I like them in any form I can get them, raw, in a pie, in a sorbet form, whatever, I love them. And when I was a kid, my grandma used to make a sort of compote out of them for me, and it was the most delicious thing ever with cherries and sour cherries and strawberries. Amazing. My parents told me that growing up I used to be a very strong-willed child, and that you would normally have to explain something to me if you wanted me to do it. Otherwise, I wouldn't do it until I understood why I actually had to. I always used to freak out about the fact that I wouldn't be able to make friends when I used to change schools or when I moved around. And of course, that turned out to be a completely unsubstantiated fear because now I have a circle of extremely good, close friends. But yeah, that always used to be a fear of mine. My perfect date night involves having drinks at a swanky lounge and then maybe a nice dinner at a restaurant. But anyway, something that allows me to get dressed up and do my hair, my makeup, and get all dolled up. I am a huge fan of tattoos and actually view them as wearable art. So I have huge respect for tattoo artists. And I have been thinking about getting a tattoo for a long time, but I never got around to doing it. So now I just have my temporary one. She's really cute. And this one I got off Etsy from Tattooery. If you're interested in it, I'll leave the link in the description below. I love spicy food to death, and I would have it every single day if I could. Generally, Alex tries to get me to pull back a little bit on it because I like adding chili flakes to everything. But guys, really, word to the wise, dried chili flakes are the best thing ever. I used to have a pixie cut in middle school and I think until the half of high school, but I mean like a really short pixie cut. And then one day I just woke up and I decided I want to have long hair. Done. That was that. Never looked back. I was in love with all the Disney cartoons, and I especially liked how the princesses would always have those big almond-shaped eyes, and that is why I'm so happy that cat eyeliner is back in style. And the truth is, I will probably not give it up even if it goes back out of style. I desperately love animals, and my perfect family would definitely include a cat and two dogs. and possibly a kid around there, but the cat and the dogs are a must-have. I am a very determined person. How I usually do things is I set a goal and then I do everything in my power to reach it, and then I set the next one and then the next one. And I don't know, maybe it sounds a bit insane, but that's just how I am. And I have rarely stumbled into things or like not have had direction, and those periods I can say were extremely uncomfortable for me. I'm also quite quick-tempered. I get annoyed very easily or pissed off or angry, and I have a bad habit of trying to cut people out. Like, if you're the best person ever and then you mess up once, my first reaction is to think that I was completely wrong to believe all the good things about you. And of course, that is a very childish mentality, and I am working on changing it. But yeah, sometimes it still rears its ugly head. I absolutely hate cold and wet weather, which is ironic, isn't it? Since I'm living in Amsterdam and I chose to move here. But yeah, the truth is I hate it, and that is the only thing that I actually don't like about living in Amsterdam, and the only reason why I would ever think about moving away. I really hate cold, I hate winter especially, I hate wind, and snow only makes me happy for like 5 minutes when it's all white and fluffy and cute, and then sleet and ice come and ruin everything. I always used to be more of a beach person than a mountain person, and especially when I was living back in Romania, we used to live in a region that was surrounded by mountains. And I feel like I never truly appreciated them because they were there. So, I didn't really pay any attention to them. And I always used to love going to the seaside. But now that I do have the seaside quite close and I have no mountains in sight, I really do miss them. And I feel like I would prefer to live in a mountainous area again. I completely hate running. I hate it with all my being. I don't do it. I can walk, I can march, I can bike, I can swim, I can paddle, I can do whatever you want me to do, but I do not run. I have no stamina for it. And I'm pretty sure that if the zombie apocalypse ever comes, I would be alive for 2.5 minutes, which is my maximum endurance for running. One of my favorite foods, and which I eat for breakfast, for a snack, and sometimes even for dinner, is fruits with Greek yogurt and with a bit of ground flaxseed on it. And this is an amazing meal. It keeps me full for a really long time, and especially since at night I don't really like to eat anything heavy, this is a great substitute. And I did talk to you about ground flaxseed in my previous video about the natural beauty picks. It's something that I love and I add it in a lot of stuff I eat. I am lucky enough to be able to say that I count my parents among my best friends. My dad taught me so many things about life and about a person's character, and my mom has been my role model since I was a little kid growing up, and looking up at her, at how beautiful she was, how great her style was, how feminine she was. She really taught me what a lady should be like. I really appreciate vintage clothing, and one of the reasons is that they have better quality than the clothes that you find nowadays at retailers. And that's because those clothes were made to last. Like our grandmothers, for example, they didn't have the money or the opportunity to buy 20 dresses every summer. They would have one dress which they would wear for many years, and they would keep them in a better condition as well. So that's why I really like looking for them, scouring the markets for vintage clothes. And I also love the fact that they have a story. These were items that were owned by someone else. They have seen a lot of things, so to say, throughout the years. And I love getting them and making them part of my story as well. And then maybe I can pass them down to other people. And one of my favorite vintage items lately is this top, which is a traditional Romanian top. It's so special. I love the details on it. And yes, you can see that it has been worn, but it's so special and so beautiful, and I absolutely love it. I've always had an interest in fashion and beauty and style growing up. And when I was a little girl, I used to look at fashion catalogs with my mom, which we used to get from my aunt in Germany because you couldn't get stuff like that in Romania back then. And then growing up in high school, I started reading magazines, and then I went on to reading fashion websites and now blogs, which has also inspired me to share my vision of style with you guys. I actually started blogging and vlogging after Alex and my best friend from back home started encouraging me to do it. And I'm so excited I listened to them and that I started this project, and I'm really absolutely thrilled to be standing here in front of the camera for you guys every week. So that was it, guys. That was the video. These were the 50 random things that I thought you may want to know, should know, maybe are interested in knowing about me. And if there's anything else that I haven't covered and that you are curious about, you can always ask me and just leave it in the comments. And if you like the video, if you like what I showed you, if you found it entertaining, if you like my tattoo, if you like my coffee mug, then give it a big thumbs up. And of course, you can always share it, comment on it. I'm really excited to get to know you guys better as well and to talk more to you guys. And of course, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, so then you are always notified of when I upload new videos.